Welcome into BMOC's Bet Buffet, where we bring in big man on campus who went 3-1 last week, 11-9 on the season. He's got 4 bets for us on this college football card. Big man on campus, welcome in. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing great, Drew. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Excited to hear your opinions, man. You're good, well over 500, 3-1 last week, and we got 4 good matchups this week. What did you see from last week's college football action that you're going to be bringing into this week's college football betting action?
Yeah, I think there's a dynamic thing that went on last week, and one of the teams you're going to talk about, I think we really see a bounce back here. Most of my games this week, Drew, one of them is a big favorite that I really like against a team that I think is really poor. I'm looking forward to one. We have an interesting travel spot in one of them. It's going to be an interesting week here, Drew, but it's been a great week for me, great season for me so far. I'm really doing well with the premium plays and all the shows that I do at SBR. It's really been a fun year. Looking forward to having it continue. It's a long season, Drew, as you know, so you need to maintain consistency and just stick with what has gotten you there.
Yeah, good stuff, big man. I know you know college football and mainly college basketball is as good as anybody I know. So let's get right into it. Starting off with Vanderbilt versus Florida. We got a good SEC matchup here, 12 noon Eastern time on ESPN. Commodores traveling down to Gainesville. Looks like BetDSI has Florida minus 9.5. You can find it as low as minus 8.5 at Heritage. A total of 41.5 at Betonline, 41 at 5 dimes. How you betting this one, big man?
I'm looking at the underdog here. I really like Vandy in this spot. Look, I think a lot of people are going to be skeptical to look into Vandy, especially after last week's trouncing against Alabama at home. But we need to point out Alabama does that to a lot of teams. Vanderbilt just didn't show up in that game. There was, I think, a little bit too much going into that game, a little bit too much pressure, and they got ran off the field. I don't think it's a general reason to believe that this is the Vanderbilt team. Vanderbilt's a good defense. They just got outrun and overran by Alabama. I look at what Derek Mason said after the game, pretty much called this team out, called them soft. A team like Vanderbilt, they're about as close, Drew, as a military school as you're going to get. It's a very rigorous academic schedule. It's one of the tougher schools to get into. Most of these kids, smart kids, they're also tough kids as well. I think they're going to come into this game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And I got to tell you, Drew, I am really looking at Florida, and I'm asking myself, how good of a football team is this really? They've won 2 games by the skin of their teeth on last-second plays. They've really struggled. They haven't covered a game this year, and I just don't really feel comfortable laying this kind of number with Florida. I don't think they're very good. I think they have a lot of trouble off the field. I've been out in front of this Florida situation since it's begun. I don't think you're going to see any of those kids play this year, let alone in this game. There's a brand new quarterback for Florida. And I got to be honest, Drew, I really believe Vanderbilt can go in and win this football game. You look at the last 2 games between these two, Vandy covered both of them. They were low-scoring affairs, 13-6 and 9-7. I think the difference between this Vandy team and those Vandy teams, a little bit better offensive team. I really still do believe this is a good defense team, and they're back on their level. Alabama's 1 or 2 steps higher than they are. They got slapped in the face, and they got to go back to regularity in the SEC. But I think this is a team much more on their level. I think this game's decided by 6 points or less. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, to see Vandy lead the whole game here and grab a win.
Yeah, good stuff. I like that breakdown, big man. I agree with you. Hey, we got another one pretty much in the same time slot, 12:20 start on ESPN2 in the ACC this time. We got the Syracuse Orange traveling on the road to face NC State. Looks like NC State's laying 12, 64 the total across the board. How you looking to bet this one?
Yeah, I'm looking at the total here, Drew. I'm going to go over 64. The big thing about totals in any sport is pace. It's not necessarily how good they are offensively. It's about how many possessions they're getting, going to have a chance to score. Both these teams are very good pace-wise. 17th for NC State, 5th in the country for Syracuse. They're running almost 88 plays per game. As we know, Dino Babers loves that up-tempo, warp speed offense. And both these teams are rolling through the air, particularly NC State. They've really been good through the air, 35 points a game. Both teams love to throw the football, and we know Eric Dungy's turning into quite the passer there. Both these teams up tempo. You're not going to see a ton of running. I don't mean to like have a really rudimentary breakdown here, but I don't really overthink these games. I mean, both these teams love to throw. They have limited pass defenses. The strength for NC State's on the front line. Unfortunately, those guys can't go out and play corner as well. I saw against South Carolina, they had a lot of trouble with Debo Samuel and Jake Bentley through the air. I think this one goes back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised to see a game in the 80s. 64 is just a little too low. This one's not one I'm going to overthink. I look at this one at like 45, 31, 48, 28, something like that. I do think NC State will roll and get the cover here, but I think the total here is the best play. I don't really understand the 64-point number.
On to the Saturday night slate. Pac-12 action on the Pac-12 network, actually. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. The Washington Huskies travel to Corvallis to take on the Oregon State Beavers. Looks like we got a total of 60 pretty much across the board. If you're looking to go over, we got a 59.5 at Bookmaker. You can use the SBR odds screen to get these best numbers and click through to any sportsbook you would like. We're also showing Washington minus 26.5, just short of 4 touchdowns on the road, big man. Are you looking to lay it with the favorite or maybe a little totals action here?
No, I'm looking to lay it with the favorite here in Washington, and they're quietly, Drew, really looking like a very high-level team. Last week was impressive, going into Colorado, really doing whatever they wanted against Steven Montez, forcing interceptions, and their secondary is really starting to look like, again, they had a lot of wholesale changes there. 3 of their 4 secondary players went on to the NFL, but they filled in. They've gotten good contributions from some younger guys, and you look at their defensive line. I mean, it's one of the best in the country. Their front 7 really solid. And I think in this game, I think Oregon State's going to have a really tough time scoring points. Their best player is Ryan Null, a big bruising. He kind of reminds you of Toby Gerhardt a little bit. He loves to run the football, and I think that's going to be tough here. Washington's really good against the run, 2.69 yards per carry. They're only allowing about 100 yards a game. And the big news in this game is, off a bye, Jake Luton, the quarterback for Oregon State, had a pretty scary injury against Washington State. I don't know if anyone saw it, but he ended up fracturing his spine. Not a good injury. He's obviously not going to play in this game. They got to go back to Darryl Garrettson, who's kind of been all over the map. He played at Utah State, transferred to Oregon State, didn't win a job or anything here. I think they're really going to struggle to move the football in this game. Haven't seen 30 points this year yet, Oregon State. I think they're going to struggle. I think this is a 49-14 type of game. Washington State just looks to be that low team that no one's really talking about. They're just rolling in the process. Oregon State, Drew, hasn't covered a number yet this year. Anything under a 30-point number, I'm looking to bet here. I think this is a blowout. Washington continues their hot play. Should roll in this game.
All right, big man. And on to the nightcap of Saturday's slate. My favorite matchup, one because of the time slot, and another, it's a good one in the Mountain West. We got 207, 208, the Colorado State Rams on the road to face the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Looks like Colorado State is minus 6.5 right now at WagerWeb, pretty much minus 7 on all other books across the board here. 65.5 total at Betonline, 66.5 at Bookmaker. Are you looking to bet this West Coast nightcap with the travel here with the Colorado State Rams, I'm guessing, big man?
The key to this business, Drew, and I've tried to anchor this, and any good handicapper will tell you, the key to this business is finding information. You're almost, that's why having a wife's not necessarily the wrong thing in the world, because she can tell you about what quarterback's girlfriend broke up with them. It's all about information, Drew, and I have some real good information in this game. I'm all over Colorado State. You can get 6 right now at BetOnline. I highly recommend making this play now, because when punters come in on Saturday, they're going to drive this number up. Get this number now at 6. You're getting it under a touchdown. Drew, Hawaii is obviously a tough trip for any team. Colorado State's actually arriving there today. Mike Bobo has done a great job of preparing this team to go on the road and play in this football game. You're going to go back to 1998, Drew. Mike Bobo played in the Hula Bowl out in Hawaii. So he's no stranger to this trip and knows the importance of getting there early. It's all about jet lag, making sure you have a good sleep schedule a day or two before this game. Hawaii's out there actually in the air as we speak. They should be arriving in the early evening. They go through a small walkthrough, have a full day Friday to kind of get relaxed and prepared. They have all day Saturday as well to really get into their heads here that they got to go in and play a football game. I've not been that impressed with Hawaii. I think their offense is struggling. And you look at home, 3-13-1 over the last 17 at home against the spread. Colorado State's covered 7 in a row in conference, and Hawaii is just getting shredded. I look for Nick Stevens to have a big day in this one. We should see some points, though. I don't know how many we're going to see from Hawaii. I think this team is struggling right now. I really like the angle of them getting there early. Last time Colorado State went into Hawaii, they struggled. Jim McElwain really had no idea what he was doing as far as time constraints here. You got to prepare yourself to go to Hawaii. Beaches, blondes, bikinis, that's all you're going to see here. You have to mentally get yourself prepared, and remember, this is a business trip. I love what Mike Boba's done here. He's done this before. He has the experience of going out to Hawaii. Look for Hawaii to get crushed in this game. I look for a double-digit victory for Colorado State here. Get it in now. Make sure you're getting the best of it. Colorado State -6 for me.
Great information, big man. I love it. It's all about information. Get ahead of the odds makers and the market. Good stuff here. That's why I like this show. Anything else before we close it out?
No, just wrap it up. I got Vandy +9.5, over 64, Syracuse, NC State, Washington -26.5, and the Colorado State Rams -6 against Hawaii.
You heard it there. And find Big Man on Campus on Twitter at Jeff Nadu. And we will talk to you next Thursday. It will be out by next Friday morning. That will be the next Big Man on Campus Bet Buffet.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.